Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the August 20th, 2018 Conservation Commission meeting. This meeting is on the public access channel and the YouTube channel being broadcast. So, first item on the agenda, public meeting RDA for all local streets, Matthew Wojcik, Town of Douglas. Come on over, Bill.
Hello.
Name for the record.
Bill Cundiff, Town Engineer. I don't know if you want to read the advertisement.
Yes. Do I have it?
Should be in the file.
Okay. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. No legal notice for public meeting. Request for determination of applicability. The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public meeting for Matthew Wojcik, Town of Douglas, on Monday, August 20th, 2018 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40. The proposed request for determination of applicability work location is all local streets, and the applicant is requesting permission to cover all routine highway improvement projects, including but not limited to crack sealing, pavement reclamation, repaving, and drainage system maintenance, i.e. catch basin cleaning, drainage swale cleaning, pipe cleaning, and other similar maintenance activities. Okay.
Hello. As you know, we come before you annually, and well, we've been coming annually, and basically we put in for the projects that the Highway Department has for the coming year. So this year I did prepare a colorful sheet which shows the locations of proposed work. And the first project is Northwest Main Street, basically between Wallace and Douglas Hill Way. They're going to reclaim and pave. And there is a 12-inch diameter culvert that's existing, that's failing, that John would like to replace with a 12-inch diameter plastic pipe. That's one project. There's also a second project on Wallam Lake Road, a little bit south of Cedar Street, just before the Wallam Lake entrance for the DCR. So it's about a half mile of reclaiming and paving. And then lastly, they have a number of streets that they want to do crack sealing on. And so it's Birch Street, Maple Street, Locust, Hemlock, and Chestnut. So that's this year's projects, but the scope of what we're requesting is basically getting your authorization to do all local roads under this filing, okay? We can still come back and present to the commission if you would like that, but the filing is technically for all local roads. Historically, what we've done is come before the commission with an RDA. The commission reviews the scope of the projects like I just went through, and they've historically issued a negative determination with the condition that Steve go out and work with the highway superintendent to look at the erosion control. So John would call Steve and say, hey, we're all set. Steve would go take a look, and then he'd give his okay on proceeding with the project. That seems to have established a good protocol over the last, probably 10, 15 years anyway. And we think that, we've demonstrated that we can function in this manner as we go forward. And if there's a particular special project where we're either widening paving, putting down new paving, or creating drainage structures, we would make an actual filing.
Okay. And you have some standard conditions that you're going to offer for the negative? The erosion control, you're going to do this at certain places, catch basins, you're going to do this type of thing, best management practices. Or do you have something for us that they typically do? Or can we?
That's about it.
Okay, that's it.
And call Steve
So
for
stakes
an
drop,
inspection.
so calling the agent, and then, do you ever use straw bales, like around
We
the catch
typically use
basins?
wattles.
Yeah, good enough, double
Straw
wattles
wattles.
and certain,
Yeah, the wattles are good because sometimes if they have a long stretch, they can just move them, after the work's done. So it's
Okay.
efficient,
They
cost
can reuse them?
effective. Yeah.
They can reuse it.
Drag them.
Yeah, you know, if it's a dry period, you get 2 weeks of no rain and they're working, if it's, you know, they can reuse them and do probably a half a mile worth of road.
Right.
So if we decide on a negative, this will be indefinitely a negative.
It's just for this
We
year,
could,
right?
Well, no, this year is what I presented for the road projects, but the request is for the town-wide, so next year and the subsequent years
perpetual
would be
negative.
covered under this RDA filing.
So he wouldn't have to come back next year.
Correct. Unless you want an update or, you know, we're happy to do that, but
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
this is fairly routine.
Yeah.
So the things that you've, like painted out here or colored, the blotches, is that like where you're going in and fix that particular area, skipping over, because I live on that road, so that's what I'm thinking about. So you do an area, skip over, do another area?
No, the border, the red border,
Yeah.
the rectangle, for lack of a better term, is where we're gonna basically reclaim the paving that's there and put down new
The entire
paving.
thing?
The entire
What do the
thing.
little broken spots mean?
There's
Hi,
no-
it's a roadway.
Oh, that's the USGS
What's
map,
this?
Gary. That's a type of roadway shown on the USGS
Oh,
map. The scope of the work is within that red rectangle that I.
And you sort of want carte blanche, right, basically, to go in and do what you want, because there might be a little bit of wetlands here and there, because I know that whole stretch is in wetlands, right?
No, it's spotty,
Within,
and
yeah.
typically we stay within the right-of-way. We don't expand the paving. We're basically doing maintenance, for lack of a better term.
So one of you guys will go out there and just decide how much length of the straw wattles you need. You're not gonna cover that whole thing with straw wattles.
The way it's worked is John's identified from his perspective what might be a resource area. After he lays out the straw wattles, he'll talk to Steve. Steve will go take a look and maybe he'll say, hey, you need to protect this area a little more. And then the work would begin after that.
John's
you.
pretty conservative.
And what about like bi-yearly update or something, like the first half of the year, you just put a packet together like you did here, and then maybe in July, put another packet together?
Sure.
Whenever you're gonna know,
Right.
you know, however many things, and I would just include it as a discussion item. And so that
Absolutely.
we're not surprised
Right.
the whole
I mean,
road is torn up
we're
or
happy to
something
still,
like that.
you know, submit the same kind of paperwork we've been doing, give you an idea of the scope. And then even if you, in advance of the work even, you know.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
But if the commission identifies a potential problem and wants a filing, we can still do that.
yeah, of course. Anything else?
I have
Board, anything?
one question about the covert replacements. You're replacing a 12-inch with a 12-inch. How do you know the 12-inch is sufficient for that area?
Well, it's flowing now with the degraded pipe. So it's functioning now with a less than 12-inch pipe, if you will.
Okay.
So the 12-inch is a one-to-one, and with it being a new pipe, being clear.
Right,
Sure.
it'll get better flow
And
than it
and it's
has.
also, if you know, it has a better end value, so the coefficient of friction would be less.
And why is it being
Totally
replaced?
understood.
Did you already say that?
My understanding is parts of it are damaged and it's blocked.
And it's metal now?
And it's metal now.
And you wanna go with, RCP, is that what you call it?
No,
Oh, that's still-
HDPE.
Got you.
Mhm.
And has there ever been a backup over there? Anything ever flow over the road?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm open to,
So I was
being
going to ask
corrected.
is that a wetlands or a stream there that goes through there? Is it just wetlands draining or is there a stream?
if you look, there's a high point that's not too far away. It's on the
Yep.
side of a hill.
Mhm.
The hill collects at the edge of the road and then
Yep.
it channels it through the pipe, and you'll see a little natural topographic ravine on the downside going towards the reservoir.
Yep.
So it might just be surface runoff, it's not necessarily.
It's likely just surface runoff.
Okay. Yeah, I'm only asking because I'm concerned about stream continuity.
Although driving it today, that section of roadway is particularly bad relative to the other sections. So that's indicative of a high groundwater level,
Okay.
so.
When those guys go to put that one pipe in, is that something you watch over, or are they just on their own?
No, they do that. They'll work from conservation perspective through Steve.
The only thing I was gonna say is, since the road's ripped up, if, when they go out there, they see need, put a second one next to it or something, they're not that expensive.
They're open to putting a 15-inch, because originally John thought it was a 15-inch, but after further inspection, it was a 12-inch.
I'm always for like do it once and never do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they can pretty easily design the culvert.
Yeah, just let them decide whichever.
Yeah, if it ends up being a 15-inch, I'm not gonna say
I'm just saying, I
that,
think
oh, you
if
said it was a
encouraging that,
12.
no, encouraging it to get
Okay.
bigger might be a good idea if they say that.
If that's what, yeah, if that's
Yeah,
what
just
I'll
leave it.
mention it to John.
Bruno wants, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no,
You're
like I
good?
said,
I'm good.
my concerns were just from a stream continuity perspective, but if it's not a stream, it's just drainage, and
Yeah, it's
Right.
not
whatever,
hydrologically
what you
connected.
sized it for is
Mhm.
whatever you engineered
Yeah.
it to be is good.
Stormwater. Can I make a motion?
Sure.
I move that we approve a negative RDA for this project and conditioned, I guess, on the topics
Conditions.
mentioned as conditions that the town and work with Steve Zisk on erosion control issues.
Okay. Motion on the floor?
Motion seconded?
Okay, motion's made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Bill.
See you soon. Okay, we have an RDA for 121 Maple Street. Cynthia Murphy, come on over.
I was gonna say, I believe there's a fun colored map.
Yes. Very excited to.
And you
take
should
a
have
look.
a second RDA for Fenner.
They are on at 7:20, but you can sit up here.
Well, we're kind of filing the thing together.
Did
We're next door
you
neighbors.
put the advertisement
Absolutely.
as a
Right in the
single
same ad.
advertisement?
No. I believe it was a separate ad.
No.
We advertised individually.
Oh, we
Okay.
did individually at the same time.
Okay, so just for cleanup purposes, we'll take the first one. You can absolutely speak,
Okay.
but we'll just have to take one
Okay.
first, the 715, 121 Maple.
the two maps together.
I see that. That's good. I like
Nice job
it.
on that.
There you go.
Thank you.
Man,
Thank
way
you
to-
for your
way to
help.
save a few
We
$100 there.
appreciate that.
You must have worked a lot
That
right
was
there.
something that I wanted to see. That's great.
Okay. Yeah, so we,
Hold
next-
on one second,
Try
let me
to put
just
through a
read
copy
the
of it all.
ad.
Nope.
I'm trying to locate that file. Okay. The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public meeting for Cynthia Murphy on August 20th, 2018 at 7:15 PM in the Municipal Center at 29 Depot Street for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40. The proposed request for determination of applicability work location is 121 Maple Street, and the applicant is requesting permission to clean up tree damage, including logging services following tornado of July 26, 2018. Okay, you've got the floor. Do you want to, actually,
Yeah.
we'll have Steve go first.
Yeah,
so
why
he
don't
can
I
kinda
just-
present what
I'll
he's
I'll
found.
show you up on the screen here. So this is the 120, these are the two lots. And they're both, and I think their house is right about here. And is it approximate still what we looked at? So they came in last Saturday, we sat down with the neighbors, I put the two plans together. You know, they went out into the field. I think you flagged those markers, I got two videos. So the areas that are flagged is the extent of how far back you're going.
Correct.
So there's a couple of areas, when you see my videos, there's a little tree here on the far right corner that I,
Two large
two,
trees.
two large
Yeah.
trees there. And as you come in, there's a couple of trees at the beginning. There's some trees along the side of the house here. And then there's an area back here. You'll see it's probably flagged in some red. And I take some red markers. I take some videos, and then I go back and I really get back into the mist of where all the trees are falling down. And then the other video is from the other gentleman's house. It comes back here. I come back to where you can kind of see the well out in the back right-hand corner and all the trees that are falling. So maybe it'd be best if I just show the video, and then maybe you can have comments after. So the first one is gonna see that, the two trees off the road to the right-hand side. So here's the driveway.
Is that Maple Street there?
I'm on Maple now, yeah. So there's a couple of trees here.
Is this storm damage? Anything from the tornado? or is it-
No,
Yeah.
this
Oh,
is,
these-
the ones he's showing you now are in the green on the map. This is gypsy moth and winter storm damage. But the wetlands run through that, so I've just sort of
They're
put them
deadish
both
trees
together.
that
Yes.
are very
Oh, they're
close
dead.
to
They
the
were
power
defoliated-
lines.
They were defoliated
Yes.
3 years in a row.
And here's one which is the,
That one's tornado damage.
Yeah. And that one's nowhere near the wetland, so that's on my property right up the
just
street.
showing you, and then,
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
and then you come down to the driveway, and so there's a series of trees along the right-hand side. I think 2 of them might be dead, at least one of them.
One of
Two are-
them's dead, and the others need to be cleaned up, but,
To
at
clear the
least-
power lines.
Yeah. We just figured because it's close to the wetlands, not necessarily in it, we just discuss it here. That's dead. Oh, is that the dead one? No, that one just needs to be cleaned up.
You're not taking that down?
Not unless it needs to be.
I don't know. It remains to be seen. I mean, does it matter?
I mean, if you wanna get it off your power lines, it does.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, and now you're coming into the tornado damage.
All the cut-up stuff is Team Rubicon. That's the stump that's behind our house.
And so when you go into the, you'll see some markers off to the right here. That's as far, are you taking the tree down that's got the marker on it? Or you just
Yes.
using that as a distance?
Nope, no, he told us to flag anything we wanted taken down.
So from that marker forward, everything's getting removed.
Pretty much. There's not a heck of a lot left standing. The one that is standing is dead. That one right there.
As you're looking at this too, you're not gonna wanna leave. I mean, I dealt with a lot of tornado stuff out in Western Mass, I've done a ton of it. Anything that gets left like that, the root structure is already so hammered from being bent over, it will not
And
survive.
that stake is the point
That's 50
That's-
feet.
No, that one's.
Oh, is that one
That one's
100?
100.
Oh, okay.
from the
Yeah.
house?
From the
Yes.
house, so
From the
that is
house.
edge of wetland.
Is that how far you're going from the stakes? Those red stakes is your limit?
No, the red stakes were just trying to determine where the back edge of the damage was. We had to go every 50 feet.
Or we marked every 50 feet going in, and when we, on our property, get to the back end of the damage,
We're
it's
at
200 feet
200
in.
from the house.
Rich's, on Rich's property, it's 250 feet back.
So it's actually beyond what this map even shows.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct, yeah.
'Cause this is your 100, this is 200, the damage is back here.
Yeah,
Or, I'm looking at the wrong house, but it's,
yeah. It's very similar, though, either property, yeah.
So that's basically their property.
right, so it's the 100 from the corner to the edge of wetland, so they measured 50, 100, 150, and 200.
Mhm.
So those red marks are 100 feet from your house? Those red flags that I gave you?
The red flags that
Some
we
of them
tied
may be,
around
yeah.
the trees are to take down the trees. The stakes with the orange painted tops are placed every 50 feet, moving back from the building.
So are you gonna be taking more past these up into the area? So you're going past where the 100, where the flags around the trees?
We would like to.
Yep. We would like to pull all that out of there. We don't know how to do it, but this guy
Yeah.
does.
Well, we're not capable of doing it ourselves.
That's their property.
Okay.
We also have a drone picture, video from the chief. If you guys are interested in viewing it at any time, it's up to you.
I would like to know the closest point that, to the wetland that you will be taking down a tree that has not been damaged?
I mean, if you actually walk that site, there really isn't anything that would, right up to like the tree line where you can still see it like standing, there's nothing inside that's not damaged.
Okay.
So,
So what's your practice of clearing in
what
sensitive
we would do
areas?
is we come in through the side there where the driest part is, right through her driveway, and we would work into the wetlands. Obviously, we wouldn't just start mashing things down. We clean up as we go. Obviously, you know, tenderly, you wouldn't want to just go tracking in there. So we're gonna work from the dry, where there's no wetlands, down into it, and we just keep working our way in, because if you saw that storm damage, it's actually laying down where, say her house is here, get the map here. Her house is here, 90% of the trees are actually fallen either this way, with the tops in the woods this way, and the root balls are up this way, or they're down this way. And then on his property, they're actually into the wetlands as well. So we would work our way in just for, you know, safety reasons, and obviously we had to pull the tree from the bottom first. So we'd cut off the stump and try to pull them up onto the dry, and then come across.
Oh, we're
I've
not
got a
gonna
question on
stomp
this.
in the
No,
wetlands.
we're not stumping, no. That's what I mean, but they're,
okay.
if you had seen the
If it's
site, they are
de-stumped,
tipped up.
yeah, if they're
They're
tipped
already
up.
uprooted, most of them. So what we do is we cut the root off, and the stump will fall back down flat, and then we just leave it.
Okay.
There's
These
the,
purple
There
guys?
is, there's only one stump that we would like removed.
Matt,
and
can you
it's
stick around here for a second,
The
please?
one directly behind the house. So if you go back.
Yeah, I did see that one.
Yeah.
That's,
That's not in the wetlands.
No.
That's on the house side of
Yeah,
the 50
so that's
Yeah.
not really
Yeah.
on discussion there. It can be coming out no matter what.
Can I ask a question?
yeah, sure, Gary.
So you have grapple skidders, right?
Yes, the skidder will not be operating in the wetlands. What I will have that's even close to the wetlands is, we call them shuttle loggers. They're machines with wider tracks, and they have big grapples on them. So when we cut them, then what we do is grab the tree. That way we're not tracking through the water back and forth. We grab it and we'll spin it up to the high side.
Is that human operated?
Yes, it's a machine. Yes, it's.
Well,
it's
so
an
your grapple
excavator.
skidders, do they have,
Is there standing water
um,
there?
It's, when I walked it, it was fairly dry. I don't know about the rain yet though.
do your grapple skidders have cables on too?
No, we don't have cables, but like I said,
Don't grapple skidders some have? cables
some
too?
do, yes,
You
but mine
have.
don't. No.
Okay, so I guess I'm trying to get a handle on what you're clearing, why we should allow for the clearing in the wetland, because you shouldn't really be touching the wetland at all. If there's trees that are damaged or dead, you can pull them out, but as far as cutting additional,
Yeah,
You
I don't.
shouldn't be cutting
They're not
any
looking to cut any additional.
The only ones we're asking permission
That
to
are
cut are the
damaged.
damaged ones that are still standing. They're bent, or they're leaning.
So Tracy, can you make this is an RDA, right?
mm-hmm,
You make a motion with contingencies?
conditions, yeah.
I get, my feeling is they should be able to take anything out of those wetlands, but like you said, limit the,
We ain't gonna take any healthy ones. I've
no, but,
you know.
yeah, but even grapples going in and out of there, I mean, they do allow, doesn't the state allow work inside of wetlands for permitted?
Oh no,
damaged
for
trees.
sure. I mean, we've done a million. I mean, we worked out in Western Mass.
They usually make them do them in the winter though, right, when it's frozen?
In good conditions, which are either A, winter, or B, August, when
And
it's
how do you
dry.
feel about this? Ready
You know,
to go now?
BMPs. I've done a ton of this stuff. I
Are we
work
ready to
with
go now, though?
Oh yeah, I mean, within a week, we did like to get this done. I mean, as quick as possible, because it is the driest
because
time
they
of the
do
year right
have
now.
branches hanging at
Okay.
the house.
So could you take us through, I know you started to tell us
Yeah.
how you're going to actually
So, on
do
this
the
map
removal.
here, her house is, Mrs. Murphy's house is here. I thought the best access is, because this whole stretch here is very dry behind both his house and her house.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was going to do was come in through their driveway, set up my chipper here, right on it's the most driest spot near that stump is and everything. And then I was going to work this edge here first, get this cleaned up nice, that way there's no, you know, stuff in the wetlands or anything like that. Then I was gonna take my machine, I would cut the stuff here and spin it so it's up here, then the skidder would just travel here. The skidder would never go in the wetlands, it would just travel on the dry stuff.
What's the, okay, so you're saying
We're gonna have to
dry
drag, we're gonna
meaning-
have to drag this material from behind his house up to here. So I don't really wanna be running too much equipment down here.
What
Okay.
machine are you using that you say spins? Is it an excavator with a
It's an
grapple on it?
excavator, yes,
With a
essentially an
grapple on it?
excavator with a big grapple, yes.
And a cutter too, or just a grapple?
Cutter, yes.
Okay, so
Cutter
the
head,
the
grab it.
machine will be the 100 to the 75, right?
Yeah.
You will stay within that
Yeah,
25
and
foot of
only-
the dry
yeah,
area.
exactly. That's the skidder that drags the wood there. We will need to put, like I said, it's either the excavator or fellow buncher. Essentially it's just another excavator. That will have to be, it's going to be in the wetlands, but not, I mean, like I said,
But no reason to store that stuff in the wetlands, right?
no, it will never be stored in the wetlands. Every night it'll be up behind her house.
Are you gonna leave any slash behind in the wetlands?
I'm gonna try to take as much as I can just for the growth purposes.
But don't they require a 3-foot slash or less?
No, that's,
Slash
slash is good and bad. There's gonna be, I'm not cleaning it up like a land clearing job. I'm just gonna, I'm getting in there, grabbing the bulk of it out.
prevent it from drying up.
What do you prefer, Steve?
Well, it's just because it's a wooded wetland, so the canopy's been destroyed. So the natural habitat is a wetland that's mostly in the shade a lot of times. So leaving a little slash
Yeah, I'm not gonna,
prevent the area from.
Are you
heating up
okay with
to be
that,
like a
Murphy's, or you know what slash means?
and burn it
Yeah.
out.
What,
Right.
it
You know,
is
it allows the
brush, right?
vegetation to come
Yeah,
back.
Yeah.
but they usually have a
Yeah.
limit, they,
like I said, I'm not gonna
3
go
feet or less.
pick every little stick up. I'm just gonna grab the bulk of it, what I can reach in
Well,
there.
you don't want a fire hazard either, so.
Yeah.
Well, based on what he's saying, he doesn't want.
Yeah,
those
exactly.
sticks
So
up.
if there's a lot of really nice in the wetlands,
blueberry
you know, I'm not
bushes in
picking it
there, too,
up.
so.
Right.
There would, yes,
But
to your question, there
best
will be
management
slash left.
practices.
I'm not gonna pick it up clean.
Think
But you don't
Make it
wanna
wet.
go in there and start raking, sticks in
No.
the field.
Well, we don't want it like that either. We
Yeah.
want it as
Right.
natural as possible.
Over
Yeah,
the
we
years, you
didn't-
can make a little bonfire and take it out here and there, but he's saying leaving the slash high is gonna create,
Well, not,
Not high, you don't wanna leave
but
it
you don't
high.
want, you don't want it too high, cause you don't want fire hazard, but you don't want
it's a
it.
phraseology, whatever you
Right.
decide is the.
Okay, so back to you're grabbing it,
Yep.
you're chipping it. Then what do you do?
The chips will be hauled off site.
Okay.
Stumps, no stumping, that
Right.
stays
Okay. You're pulling the tree that's
to the
down.
chipper, correct?
Okay.
I,
But like I
Mr.
said, I'll be pulling the wood.
Dragging 'em.
I'll be dragging them on the dry section of their property up here.
Are you doing stumps outside the wetlands though? Cause I thought.
Just one, behind her house, and that is actually a very
You're
big
fine with
hazard,
that?
because it's, I mean,
That's
there's a
the
hole
only
in
one.
there's a
one
hole
I
in the
need.
yard.
We are good. We are good
Yeah.
with that.
That's not
stuff
in the
to be
wetlands, that's
removed.
not even.
Well, it is in the buffer zone.
It is in the buffer zone?
Yeah, I see the
Is it
hot
the pink
pink.
line?
Yeah, but I think it's.
No,
No,
actually,
it's not in, because it's
Oh, it-
directly, that's not correct, I don't believe. It's her shed,
it's in the 100.
it's in the 100?
It's 20 scale.
Well, the line actually goes through the house, so.
Start
it
from the
does.
blue line
On
and
the
go
valley.
100.
Yeah,
That one there.
The
Depends
stump
on-
is 45 and a half feet from the house.
so it's in the buffer, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's in the
I'm
100
fine
feet.
with that one
Yeah.
to come out.
Like I said, that's a hazard anyway, it's got a whole giant hole.
What do you do
in
with
it.
that? What are you gonna do with it?
Haul it away.
So where's it? Is it
Just in the back of a 10-wheeler
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, it
so
looks like this.
or do we think that we have enough information shown on this plan? The other thing was,
it'd be the
you've
big
proposed tree cutting within the town of Douglas's, roadway.
I've spoken with
definitely,
John Furno.
Okay.
And he said if Mr. Hurley
I talked to John,
is
too.
happy to take them,
John
it
said
would
as long as
save
it's
the
within my
town.
scope of work and I feel comfortable taking it down.
Okay,
Because
good.
he's
Perfect.
Save the town a little
exhausted
money.
his budget
And
already
there.
anyways.
Okay, so you've got the one and then half of the other one is within the roadway.
There's,
here,
well, the
one
two,
here.
the two
Well, this
on
is
the
the
corner
road.
Yeah.
Mhm.
are on the roadway, but they're on our property. They're 18 feet
There
in.
was 2 here.
This is the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
There's
there's
only
2.
one that's in within John's thing, but I
Okay.
mean,
Okay, as long as you got permission from
Yeah.
him.
I talked to John personally,
Okay,
he said no
good.
problem.
I can't see this part. What's the difference between the pink line and the purple line,
The pink is the 100.
right?
The purple is the line that
The
they've
storm
kind of
damage.
Yeah, storm damage.
Yeah.
drawn at the edge of the damage, because this is the house
And we
itself.
have a little color-coded key here too.
But yeah, the pink is just highlighting the dotted 100.
So nothing's really in the wetlands, it's,
No.
you're
It is, it's,
in the
it's down
resource
in
area.
here.
They're gonna
but you're
pull
100
stuff
It's gonna,
from the
yeah,
wetlands.
it's in the wetlands, there's no
Because
question.
the
Oh,
damage
it's over
goes
here?
back 200 from the house, and they measured 100. So if you look at this line and this line being your hundreds, the damage goes back 200. They're pulling stuff back to here almost.
Oh, yeah. No, it's-
Okay,
it's
so
shown
are we
there,
pretty
okay.
clear on the activity? So as far as your machine, it will be at around the 50 and you'll be pulling.
Yes, the only machine that
50
will be
feet
in,
away?
yes.
Where's the closest point that your machine will go to get the
Oh,
trees in the wetland?
I'm just gonna have to reach into, it's gonna be almost in the wetlands. Cause
How
I mean,
long-
I can't reach 100 feet, there's no way with a machine, you know?
How long is the
Right.
job completely when you get in to do both lots?
2 to 3 days.
Okay.
But you're saying like the machine with the big tires is the one that has to
No,
get
it
up.
won't be tires,
It's
it'll
on
be a track
tracks.
machine.
Okay, yeah, and it's
Yeah, I wouldn't run a tire machine in the wetlands.
but then the what
Too
is
much
it? The
sinking
backhoe
there.
stays up here.
Yes,
Yeah.
The chipper.
the
And the-
chipper,
and the
chipper,
skidder-
the skidder will be up here.
The skidder runs up
Skidder's
and
a tire
down with
machine,
what he
too.
grabs
Oh,
out
okay.
of the wetlands.
I just, like I said, I don't wanna be setting up a million different spots that's impacting the wetlands
Yep.
more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I figured stay in one
And you
spot.
basically create a haul road, right?
Yes.
With a skidder runs up and down. You stay in and delicately, as best you can with
Yep.
that big thing, take it
And
there.
if, like I said, if this does start to get kinda marshy, I have swamp mats, I'll bring 10 in, I can
That
put
would
'em
make me
down.
more comfortable if you need to set the machine up
Yep,
in
if I-
the wetland,
Yeah.
But why
then
don't
you
we
should use
leave it to his,
mats.
Like I said, I've
discretion
done,
maybe, or no?
I really don't want the machine getting set, the excavator getting set up into
Yeah.
that, you
Well, no,
know,
it wouldn't- it
into the
wouldn't-
line of the
it
wetland.
wouldn't be set up there, what I
So
do
you're
is I cut it, I just throw it up and then I track back out of it.
So you're
The
saying-
chipper's gonna be set up here, I just have to track into there to grab the trees and then track back out real quick, you know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean, you know what my
I really
operation
don't-
is too, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I've cleared stuff for you guys before, so.
if it's wet at all, I really don't
If
want
it's
the
marshy,
machine.
there's going, I mean,
I
like
would
I said,
prefer you to use
I will,
the
I will,
mats.
yeah. If it's
Especially
marshy,
like
I'll
when
stay
we
out
do
of it.
the gas line
Should be the
maintenance.
best logging practices.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I
Like I
think
said-
we leave it up to
Okay.
his discretion. His reputation is there, so
I work
If
with
necessary.
DCR all the time, Jennifer
Okay,
Fish, Skylar
okay.
Chance, you guys know,
Well,
I mean, I'm
I'm
around.
It'd be nice
not
if you-
really an expert, but my opinion is that it is a river, not a marsh. So
Well,
there's,
boy, you should have said that one.
Not a river.
it's more like a little brook that dries up in the summer.
All right,
Let's
you're
just
definitely
quickly
not a.
say
You're
that.
not
There's a river, we
That's
wouldn't even be
okay.
here.
All right, so
Right.
Steve, you have anything else?
Certain terminology triggers certain things, so.
Yeah, I know, it's like
Just-
saying you gotta flood me a cellar, right?
If, like I said,
does
back to
trigger.
topic,
It's right.
if
Yeah.
this does get any marshy within
It's
the
a
100
stream.
feet of this,
Yeah.
It's not a
I will
river.
bring in
Yeah.
swamp mats.
Okay.
And I will set up I'll put, I can put 10 swamp mats in, clear this whole area,
Yeah.
take the swamp backs out. If I have to move over here, it starts to get marshy again, I'll put the mats over here,
Yeah,
track on
'cause
the mats.
One thing
pull
I
it
don't want
apart,
is the
you know what I
clear
mean?
cutting.
Let's just call it a gentle mist
destruction
flowing
of-
over, daisy filled meadows
Okay.
and just leave it at that.
All right,
There's no
so
better way.
board, do I have a motion on this? 'Cause we need to get moving.
Come on, Mike, you're on a roll.
Give a negative on this, you think?
Yes,
No.
I second.
Motion has to get-
Be nice.
What would you like? What's your pleasure? Anybody can make a
I
motion.
make a motion.
'Cause- okay.
You want to
Two.
go ahead?
Oh, I was gonna say, okay, if I'm making the motion now,
Yes.
that we do the negative with the contingencies that we're going to have the swap match, or following the plan that you've laid out.
Swamp, what do you call those things?
We call them swamp mats, they're crane
Swamp?
mats. Yeah.
All right, so swamp
They're crane
mats,
Crane mats.
based on the operator's discretion. He doesn't have to.
Right, that's
pay
why
them.
it's a negative.
Like I said, it's all
Okay.
weather
With
permitting.
The
conditions.
Yeah,
With the conditions that he has the swap mats, yes, for
At the
at
ready.
his discretion, following best practices for working in this type of environment, and following the plan that he just laid out to us.
And the
Second.
machinery is to be parked between the 100 and the 75.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
have that
And all
behind.
of the other machinery is going to stay, the chipper, the skid steer.
Yeah, there'll be 3 pieces there, that's all.
Okay. Well, all
sorry,
3
4
pieces, and then
Four
the
pieces,
excavator
sorry.
will be parked
I'll have it
there.
up right behind her house every night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I second that.
Okay,
Okay.
so the motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Carries. Okay. You can sit. You can stay. Okay, so that was for 121. So I have a public meeting for 125 Maple Street, Richard Fenner. And let me just read the end. The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public meeting for Richard Fenner on August 20th, 2018 at 7:15 p.m. in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40. The proposed request for determination of applicability work location is 125 Maple Street, and the applicant is requesting permission to clean up tree damage, including logging services following tornado of July
Is that
26,
the same-
2018.
Is that the right?
They actually put them in at the same exact time, that's why you are
Okay.
kind of, so our agenda says
Good.
7:20, so that's okay, 5 minutes later. Okay, so, same plan as the lot next door,
Yes.
right? Anything different?
It's the same exact thing, like I said, just his material will be dragged up closer to their houses here to the chipper, that's all.
Okay, and, oh, go ahead, Gary.
Is there a way to just use Mrs. Murphy's Hall Road and just do everything there? Because I saw
That's what we're gonna do, yeah.
Did you just say that, or did you say?
Yeah, we did, we're just, like I said, his material's just gonna come up, and I'm gonna, like I said, hug the back of his house and come across.
Oh, I'm
That way
sorry.
we're not making
I'm
two
sorry.
staging areas, I know, like I said, less impact, so.
So our motion would have, save conditions as 121 Maple Street. So if we're good with that,
Could I have a question first?
one question, yes.
All right, now I want three.
You only get one.
Are you gonna do anything when you're done? Are you gonna seed with any kind of wildflower mix or?
That would not be good in the wetlands. You do
No.
not wanna seed any unnatural seed into a wetland. I mean, you want it to
Well,
regen by
I'm new here,
itself.
so just tell me
Yeah.
why.
Well, because of native species, you don't wanna interrupt any germinations or any pollinations, anything like that. You would never wanna.
So adding to
I mean,
it,
you could do it, don't
But
get
you
me
don't
wrong,
want
if you
to.
guys wanted to.
Yeah, we're not a
But
replication.
you would not wanna
This is not
replicate
a
anything. It's going to grow
replication.
back
well,
naturally.
replication is the wrong word. So when that thing goes up and down, let's say you did get a little bit of moisture and you made some ruts, what would you do to fix that?
Obviously, we have a machine there, so we could either fix the ruts, but I
yeah, I'm
doubt
just
we're
curious.
going, we doubt we'd have any
I'll
ruts.
just leave it. Right.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
I mean, I'm not gonna let anything get, I mean, if we get even a 6-inch rut, we're gonna figure something else
Yeah,
out. We're not
4
gonna.
years, it's probably, you
Yeah,
can't see it again.
yeah, we're not
It's gonna
gonna,
be all
this
growing back.
is
It's
gonna be a very
It's gonna
simple.
grow back pretty fast.
Yeah. Perfect example, you guys probably have seen some of my logging sites around town. It grows back very fast.
Shoot, I thought you were building a stadium in some of those.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we do both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, no, they look good.
Board, I'll
I've seen it.
entertain a motion.
I
Whoever would
move that
like
we
to-
issue a negative determination for 125 Maple Street, and that it has the same conditions as the previous project, which was 121 Maple Street.
Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job, I like the map. Very nice.
Thank you, Sue, for your help with that.
Appreciate
it.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you very
much.
Okay, next we have a public meeting for 260 Southeast Main Street. Anthony Jenga? Jenga.
How are you?
And good, how are you? Did you happen to give us the ad already?
It was in my folder, she said, in the
Okay.
back of the folder.
Do you keep your stuff or you toss it?
I keep
I
everything.
dropped off a copy. of the
I just
map.
got rid of
Did you see
9
that
years
this
of open
weekend?
space
Yeah.
notes.
Okay,
That looks good.
You take this with you? or what do you-
No, we leave this.
not bad for my
Big
first time.
enough.
Well, you know,
So they can refill
I
them.
wanted to make sure we were right, we were okay.
I found it, okay. The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public meeting for, this is the wrong, sorry. Wrong order, that's okay. For 260 Southeast Main Street, August 20th, 2018 at 7:30 PM in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40. The proposed request for determination of applicability work location is 260 Southeast Main Street, and the applicant is requesting permission to replace existing retaining wall and existing fence around pool, remove large dead tree on right side of property, clear brush behind fence. Okay, welcome, go for it.
So, yeah, I had, like I said, when I was here at the last meeting, I had to replace my wall just because it was damaged. There was water leaking in the pool area, so I started to redo the wall. And then I ended up putting up this erosion control after you guys came out. Yeah, and I would like to replace my fence since it's rotten and falling down. And then there's a dead tree that's on the right side of my property that has been dead for some time, so I figured while I had the permit pulled, I should add that on.
This one here?
No, it's on if you were,
Oh, on the
remember we were
outside,
standing, it was
that's
on the
right.
far side over by right on the right, right behind my well. If you can see it right there, that one.
Gypsy moth,
Yep.
right.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
gypsy moth
Okay.
damage. You can see the top of it, it's been dead for
Yeah.
a couple of years.
So there's a couple
So
pictures.
this is new, this is not tied to your previous times you've been in here?
I've never been in here before. Well, other than the last meeting before.
Last.
Yes, the first
That
time,
one
this
time.
is new since the first time I was here, yes. When these folks came out, we had looked at it and said, I might as well throw it on
No,
the permit.
That was my question, yeah.
Yes, that is new, yes.
I went on Google Earth and looked at it.
Looked at it from the sky, huh?
Oh, it's the street view. Right,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
the
yeah,
street
yeah,
view.
yeah.
Did John say anything about the runoff?
You know what, I reached out to John, I didn't hear back from him.
Okay.
I haven't actually reached out to him, but I will.
So the erosion control is staked. Steve has a picture. And
And like the yellow highlight is the erosion.
Yeah, that's, I just
and
added
if
that
you
in
open
there.
up the plan, you can see where the BVW line is. The backside there,
So this is
buffer.
Oh, okay.
see the flags.
And then there's the 50.
Yep.
And the odd hundreds from other wetlands.
Across
There's
the
one
street.
from across the
There's
street.
no line
Mhm.
here.
Is this the 50 from across the street right here?
I think that's, yeah, there's a little pocket.
Okay. So that makes sense why you have the erosion. So then, you also want to trim back the shrubs along this fence?
Just if you look, right, like literally just right behind where the shrubs are growing into the,
Yeah, no, I
onto the
get you.
fence. Yeah, not like even where the wood line is, see
Is
the
that
small.
fence okay, or did you?
No, it's all rotten and falling down.
So you need to cut back the brush and then do this fence?
Yeah. But not like, I just need to trim like the vines that are growing onto the fence, but
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
get you.
yeah.
I just,
that's what that's for.
if that's within, it's not within a 50, but it is within 100 if you're working on the fence. The only thing is, if you're working on the fence, you have to
What's
just
that
dig
right
up
there,
the
Steve? What's
posts
that?
and
I'm
dig
gonna put the
in
posts, I'm not
so
gonna, I'm gonna
there's
try to
the-
use the same
Same
holes that the,
spots.
yeah, the same holes.
Oh, that's
So
the
right here where you
Okay.
see the mulch in this picture, that's
Yeah,
now
that's
all.
what it used to look
Well, That's
like.
what it used to look like
Right,
years
that's all
ago.
grown in
It's
now,
all
yeah.
Does it
grown
look like that again, or no?
No, I don't, it doesn't have to, I just wanna make enough room so that when I'm working in there, I'm
I was
not
saying,
tripping
when they-
over brush.
When they built the pool, they had hay bales back there.
Yes.
That's right, yeah.
So it's all handwork, right? No machines?
The only
Right.
machine I had was a skid steer originally to pull the retaining wall out right next to my pool. Just because I didn't want to do it by hand, to be honest with you.
But you
But
wouldn't
no,
use the
this
skid
is-
steer back here?
No, I'm not using any more machinery. That's all going to be done by hand.
Okay.
You're gonna drag those 8-foot sections out to the road? or
Probably
what?
might cut them in half and put them in a wheelbarrow, but I'm not gonna. I'll figure
You're gonna
something out. But
drag
I'm,
them.
yeah, I'm not dragging them. I'll do something.
So there you go. So I mean, it's kind of
Yeah, I kind of want to. Yeah, I'd like to bring it back to somewhat what it looks in that picture on the left. But I mean, there's no purpose to go behind the fence once it's up. There's nothing there, so.
Board, what's your pleasure? Any more questions? It's pretty straightforward. Brush clearing, any special conditions that you wanted to, put on there?
got the erosion
No,
control already.
no machinery,
Yeah.
erosion controls remain.
I'll make the motion then for that, for a negative, is it, that's what we're
Negative
doing?
Yes.
determination.
With that, with those conditions, with the erosion controls as recommended, like you
Mhm.
have in place, and then and no further use of machinery.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
But he's gonna have machinery on this side to grade out, right?
You already did that.
No, I removed the wall and I removed the, so, and right, this is the wall right here. So this
Yeah,
area was
see-
never even touched. If
Can
you
you
look,
pop that up,
if
Steve,
you
or-
look where the green
Yeah.
is behind in between the erosion control.
Yeah, he
and the
still
wood,
has to be able to use
I
machinery
haven't-
here, Katie.
I haven't
PG.
touched any of that. I
No
just,
machine behind the
To
fence.
clear brush.
what's that?
No machine
Yeah.
behind the fence.
No, it would just be up by the roadway,
Yeah.
actually where those
Yeah,
timbers
yeah,
are,
yeah,
right in
yeah.
front of the timbers, just to backfill against the wall and then grade it
You
off
okay
to
with
make
that,
it
or
even with the road.
Okay,
it's your motion?
then
No, I wouldn't use machinery around my
Allow
pool
it in
area,
the-
no.
the pipe.
It's not enough room back there.
I understand. I'm just
Oh, yeah, sure.
Look at north, allow the north side of the pool.
understood. No use of machinery along this retaining wall that's within, your well, it's all just within the 100. So yeah, along this wall, you're clear. That's my
Okay.
motion.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Who got that second? Mike or Gary?
Mike.
Okay. Mike's got the second, for the record. All
Is
right,
that
you're all
gonna count for
set.
something later on, or-
Thank you for the minutes.
You could get an extra donut for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, an extra 10 cents mileage, or,
Okay.
do you know we get paid for
So we
mileage?
have a request for determination,
55 cents.
227 Southwest Main Street, Jason Alexander. Thank you. Okay.
How you doing?
How are you doing?
Good.
Okay. The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public meeting for Jason Alexander on August 20th, 2018 at 7:40 PM in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40. The proposed request for determination of applicability work location is 227 Southwest Main Street, Douglas. The applicant is requesting permission to add a second means of egress on an existing structure accompanied by a 6-foot by 6-foot landing and stairs within 50 feet of Bad Luck Pond. Okay, welcome.
Can I read that?
Sure.
Thanks.
Do you have a drawing or anything?
I honestly am
Background?
not sure if it's in the file. I know a
Should have been in
contractor
the file.
had
Drawing?
I don't have any. Oh, I have a drawing, not a map, I have a drawing of what your plan is. So what are the distances from the bank of Bad Luck Pond?
25.
So you're within 50. So you put within 50. So your closest point is 25 feet?
Yes.
And you going to hand dig the sonotubes?
Correct.
Or, okay, good. So no machinery.
None at all, no.
Okay. And Steve, you want to show
Yeah,
us
so
a
here's
couple
the
pictures?
pictures. It's, you know, you can kind of see where the proposed deck's gonna go. And you can kind of see Bad Luck Pond.
Now, how large is the deck?
6 by 5.
Okay,
It's just a landing, not really a deck.
that's why I was confused, yeah.
You wanna put in
Here's a little plan.
Oh, thanks.
did you say another pathway or?
Means of egress.
No, we weren't gonna do any sort of like walkway or anything like that. It's just gonna be.
Yeah, there'll be a
grass.
cement landing
Goes to the
at
grade.
the bottom of the stairs
Oh.
for code, and that's it.
Right. 54 by 42 by
Oh, it says
6,
you have to have
so
Cement landing, yes.
Really?
Or some kind of landing, whether it be stone.
the landing is shown
Or,
there, and then,
How big is the landing?
Correspondent.
Minimum
This?
2 by 2.
So,
yeah, theirs is a little bigger than that, but I mean, it makes
Why 2
sense.
by 2 if you're going out 3 feet? You know?
Or
I
2
wouldn't
by.
Put a little pad here.
Control if they're doing it.
Right, so the wood has something stable to
Oh,
land
maybe
on,
we
right, because
had
if you
it
just, if
has
you didn't have a
Yeah.
landing, the wood was just sitting on the ground.
Right, then it can just
Start digging in.
wash away.
Mhm.
So
it's
that's
pretty level.
So you've got, how many sonotubes?
2.
Okay.
How many who's?
No machinery.
Sonotubes, so for the posts.
Yeah, the 2 outside posts.
Wait, where's your, it's gonna be here and here.
Yeah, there'll be one here and one right
Okay.
here. And then there'll be a small little one to hold the end rail, so it's not loose. That'll just
Okay.
be like a 1 by 1.
Okay, do I hear any other questions? No. Do I hear a motion on this RDA? Do you have anything?
I don't.
Okay. Anybody have a motion for me, or you want me to?
Go ahead, why don't you lay one on us?
How about a negative determination for this?
Okay.
Would,
Anything special?
just the
Um,
conditions that it was all
No
handwork.
machinery be used
Right.
and all handwork?
Yeah.
And you're within the plan that you've laid out.
Mm-hmm.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Have
guys.
a good night.
Thank you.
too.
Hey, just curious, can you swim in that place anymore? Like, is it deep enough?
I don't know. Is it?
You can like kind of walk in it.
I was just wondering.
We haven't gone out too far.
Why are you
no.
laughing at me all the time?
There's a lot of vegetation.
I'm getting education here, Tracy.
This is Dead Man's Pond
Good.
you're talking about, right?
Excellent.
Dead Man's Pond, what do they call it, Bad Luck Pond?
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Because
the
Indian-
weeds will wrap around your
It's
legs and eat
Lake
you.
Laurel,
Indian-
first of all.
Crystal.
Laurel Lake.
Crystal Lake.
Oh,
Crystal
my
Lake.
word.
There's also Laurel
You know who
Lake.
used to
Yeah,
fish
yeah,
there?
yeah. That's
Who
right.
did?
Do you?
No, I cleaned,
George Washington.
hey, Al Burgess, my old scoutmaster, taught us how to take eggs and fry them in a pan and then go down to the lake by the shore and scrub them with
my.
sand. Oh, yeah.
No, really, do you
That's-
know, you don't know who used to fish there?
Who?
I know.
You? Who?
I also.
You scrub your eggs with sand?
Greatest baseball player that ever lived.
Oh.
Babe Ruth?
Well, greatest
Ted-
hitter, the greatest hitter.
I'm not much from baseball. Is it Ted Williams? Wow. I just don't know if that place is ankle deep or, 10 feet deep. I'm just
It's
wondering.
So when
Quite deep
Schuster
in
owned it,
spots.
I know that, when Schuster owned it, I helped the state purchase the property from Schuster. There's a duck blind on the deep
That's
side
awesome.
of the pond. And he told me that his grandfather that used to have the Red Sox here was friends with Williams. And Williams used to like fishing there at one spot
That's
on the
amazing.
side of the pond because it's the
That's a
deepest,
good story.
deepest part of the pond.
That's a great story. I still remember the color of that water, scrubbing those things, the old aluminum frying pans.
Oh,
Okay.
not the eggs, the fry
He
pan.
was a big fishing guy.
I wanted that wood stove in the
He
worst.
was
Big
better,
egg.
they said he was a better fly fisherman than he was a fisherman.
Okay, let's move on to.
Well, we're on a roll here. We're out of here in
we
like
can-
10 minutes.
we
So
can-
we have a last minute item. This was added to the, are you from,
I am. I'm Evan Turner.
discussion item
Come
number
on
one?
over, Evan Turner.
There he is.
You have requested 10 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
Is this,
your
what's
time
the,
starts now.
what's the name of the
Super.
subdivision?
So this, well, I don't know what it was, but it was from Mr. Cliff Van Reed and Mr. Pollard before, but it's right down there next to the pond, next to, or the lake next to Rhode Island.
Let me blow it up here.
So I was looking to, originally planning on submitting an NOI tonight, but we didn't get the plan together in time because we added a little bit of land to stay a little bit out of your jurisdiction, because that seemed like a more reasonable way to do things. The original access for this site, and it's the majority of those
Steve, could you put that
items
thing
there.
around what he's talking about?
Yeah, I can actually, I've got a plan set here, if
Yeah.
anybody wants to
Yeah, one sec,
use
let
this
me-
guy.
So this is for information only. We're not.
Yes,
voting.
this is purely informational, because I wanted to introduce you guys to the project before, and make sure I hadn't,
It has
it's this whole area.
restrictions from
This is a
planning
roadway
board
not built.
also, right?
say again.
This
We want
has-
to do a solar farm instead.
Yeah, this has restrictions from planning board. You're aware of this, right?
I will know I'll have to do a site plan review. I don't know if there are any other site restrictions.
The existing subdivision,
Yes, ma'am.
there's a restrictive covenant. You know
I'm
that.
not aware of that. That's one reason I come meet people.
Right,
What
so
is the
Mike and I
covenant?
are both on the planning board,
Okay.
so
I
just
don't,
to
can
start
you,
that.
broadly speaking, just because
With no leasing, it's a no build covenant, pretty much on the record, so.
so we can't
You would have to
develop-
look that up.
Okay, I'm not
So,
sure. Yeah, that's not something they've told me
Anything
about.
within the 100 is our jurisdiction,
Mhm.
and so you did file for the NOI, but you just didn't
I will
advertise.
file for the NOI. So that's a question, for instance, I have for you guys. If there's been a covenant that says we shall not go within 100 feet on the
No,
property,
no,
things like that that I try to learn before I
Right.
finish up my plan
What
sets. Have the
covenant are you
engineers.
referring to?
the Lakewood Estates, the subdivision.
But does that go away if this becomes a solar farm?
It would have to be released from the planning board.
So conservation question.
Yeah, so not a conservation
Right.
question, but good for me to
But,
know.
Yes.
Certainly, and I need to talk to Fred. They maybe should have mentioned that. So, here's what we're looking at broadly for the site. Entering on the top right there, right where your square is, through the long property at the top, which is right here. We'd be coming into the site, and we get into wetlands pretty much around 3/5 of the property. These were delineated about a month and a half ago. So part of what I wanted to come in and talk to you guys about was scheduling a conservation agent visit to the site. I presume you want to confirm the delineations?
Not until a filing.
So,
Okay.
You could do an ANRAD.
Gotcha.
you can
So
file an
you'll
ANRAD
probably see the
first.
filing maybe later this week or next
who
week.
delineated the wetlands?
TRC was the company who did everything. I don't know who they
Did they
used.
look at the original ANRAD?
They did. We know there were some there were some in here that they thought there were, but they didn't find them on this go through. They found more extensive here in the bottom, but did not find some of the stringy wetlands that came down here originally.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
So, I thought when you delineate a wetland, somebody would go out and verify that, and then they go for recording those? Now, this is back 3-4 years, so if you could just school me on this, I'd appreciate it. Don't they get approved for a certain amount of time so that,
3 years.
Well,
Okay, so
It's an ORAD.
why did you say that you wouldn't go out to look at those?
They didn't file anything yet.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Nothing
you
is in
can't-
front of the
you
board.
don't go out
There's no
and do
per-
anything?
No.
yeah, well,
No.
yeah, they're usually filing something.
We don't even know if,
Because it would just
who
be a waste
knows
of
if
time.
they
Yeah, I might
would even,
disappear
yeah, you
forever.
might disappear.
So all this just in preparation for setting this up over the
Fine.
next
Can I ask
month.
questions on that?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so how much upland have you got out of all here?
So there's about 44 acres total in the whole site. It's about 35 up.
Why are you saying about? Don't you have a program to run that?
They do, I just don't have it memorized. It's somewhere
And
in the
then,
plan set. Yeah.
just looking at this briefly,
Mhm.
this is your high
That's doing
point,
what I
and it's
want.
going downhill?
Yes.
Yes, sir. There are, if I jump through the plans, there are retaining ponds planned for down here.
Okay.
Okay,
And do you
so
Can you
let's
pass
have,
that over?
let's Steve
course, yeah, you
speak
guys-
please for 1 second.
So we have a,
Is
we
there
have
a
a,
road on here anywhere?
Oh, yeah, they'll just be in the further plan sets, but this is the one that shows the delineations and the
did you
buffers.
get in, did you grab the ANRAD, the original ANRAD, did your consultants? Is it,
I have-
is it the engineering company, or is it a wetland scientist that?
A wetland scientist went out and did a new delineation because the other one was out of date effectively
Wow.
from, the time
The
ago.
permit was, it's an ANRAD, so
Yeah.
the wetlands don't really change. So we had, I have to look back, but we actually had that original, we scrutinized that original ANRAD.
Okay.
We actually had outside consultants look at it, I
Mhm.
believe, B and C group,
Mhm.
might have been B and C group. I think those logging roads, those were logging roads that turned
Mhm.
into wetlands because of.
Yeah, they get enough
well,
ruddy.
They're rutted and they're cleared at the time.
Mhm.
I'm going back 15 years ago, maybe. What I would like, it would be helpful if you had the, if you could superimpose the original ANRAD, just a separate sheet, onto what changes you think happened.
Okay.
Is there any changes that are larger than the original one, or are they all
Gotcha.
smaller?
And that's something I'll have to work with Fred and Cliff on because, provide me the original, I guess, some of their survey documentation. I don't have personally the original ANRAD handy.
Well, it's.
We've looked at it sort of on a fresh slate, but that may not be.
Well, we have copies,
appropriate.
I mean, you can get a sheet copy, and if they're engineers, out there, they can superimpose that on AutoCAD.
Yeah, you
Yes,
said
pretty
TRC
Is
is
it-
the engineering as well as the.
Yes,
wetland
there are. It's
flagging
an in-house.
company.
They have
Yeah.
wetland scientists, but it's one group that does it.
So they went out and flagged it,
They did.
all the resources, so are
This
they,
is they surveyed the entire property.
so the
this is
ANRAD
what
is
they
just
found.
not BBW, the ANRAD, sometimes if you go for the ANRAD, it's BBW, it's bank, it's
Mhm.
streams, floodplain.
Yes,
In our
sir.
local
So all the
bylaw.
resources under the Wetlands Act, not just flagging of wetlands.
Yeah,
Could I ask a question?
sure.
What's your policy, or what's the board policy been the last year or two about when you have a plan come before multiple boards? It used to be that conservation did not weigh in until all the other stuff was taken care of. Do you do that anymore, or not do
We,
it?
this is not filed yet, so as far as we do weigh in, we have the sheet for our feedback if they need to file or not. That's what we did last meeting on a couple of them. We checked out the projects to see if they were within our jurisdiction, but
Well,
he
let's-
knows that he has to
But-
file
right, but
here.
let's-
So typically, the answer, I think, the answer, because they ping pong back and forth, and if one board is relatively easier than the other board, I sometimes recommend that they keep, like, say conservation is the minimum wetlands, there are some wetlands, so they have to file, but they have to go through planning board, is more rigorous or zoning. You tend to keep all the boards open and not close them until you pretty much got approval from everybody, because if you happen to close one board early, and then another board wants you to change it, you're gonna have to file, advertise. So it could be a situation where conservation might be pretty straightforward, it's hardly any work in our jurisdiction, and they might just keep continuing the meeting for months, until they get through planning board or zoning, if that makes sense.
That's why I didn't submit earlier because I had
And
some
once they get
changes.
through those rigorous boards, if it's more rigorous with those boards, then you
Right.
come in and say, okay,
But if
nothing's
they're-
really changed on our aspect, and we have a final plan, because you want a final plan, with a final date approved by all the boards at once.
And typically for me, conservation is the first yes I need because it affects my design for the other boards.
Okay, so based on that, do you have a line on here that says edge of work?
So what I'm proposing now, and it'll be on further plan sets, just pages
But
behind
you don't
that.
want to get too much into the project. I think we're talking more policy,
Mhm.
on what we'd want to see if you're
What's that
submitting.
policy?
Yeah, and if you
on-
stay
on-
100 foot away,
on-
you don't need to file.
You don't want
Exactly,
to get
that's-
into the structure of what he's actually, where it's going, because you want
Okay,
to have a
so
public
that's not what
hearing.
you're-
You want to have a public hearing.
I'm here to
and
learn
notify.
from the board.
Give me
you know,
three things that you'd like to take out of here tonight as far as information.
So I understand if I stay 100 feet away that I am out of the jurisdiction. I would, of course, I will caveat that with I need to look at the previous ANRAD and see what that
We're gonna
100
look at
feet,
the- we're gonna-
what is the 100 feet away
There's a
from
wetland
what
that's been
point.
approved that's on the books.
exactly.
Or kind of take,
So.
And that we
Cadence
already
on
have a
that.
peer review.
Exactly. So I'm perfectly happy. I'd like to have a peer review of this, and if we see the wetlands are still there and they were missed, or if they have changed, fantastic.
Yeah.
What are you
Could
asking
you
for a peer review on
explain
this?
It would just be a, when we get to the, say, when I file and when you would,
are you
bring out
gonna
a peer
file an
review.
ANRAD before you file a permit?
I would file for NOI right off the bat.
Right off
ANRAD
that?
is approval not required?
No, an ANRAD is an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation. So before people spend too much money, tens of thousands of dollars on a project, and all of a sudden the wetlands is like, well, they made a mistake on the wetlands. People file an ANRAD. It's just you're filing just to prove the wetlands. That's
The
it.
bordering vegetated
And then
wetlands.
That's it.
everyone
Or
will
streams,
agree.
and then what happens there is that once the ANRAD gets approved, his constraints, he knows where his constraints are.
Yeah.
They're not going to change when he files a notice of
And
intent.
you have represented that those flags are already in place?
They are, that's the
But he doesn't
wetlands.
have to do that. He can just file an NOI, do all his engineering, and if there's a wetland that goes right through the middle of it that we're
Hasn't
going to
been
dispute,
picked out.
Yeah.
he's going to have to
And we do it
re-engineer.
during the NOI.
So some people, it's up to the applicant. Some do an ANRAD because they know where they stand when they're going to go design the project.
Okay, how about this? When
Put
the,
that up there?
What?
Is that yours? Would you explain it, please?
Well, this is the existing subdivision. So this is,
So that's real life, that's not a plan.
this is what was.
Where's the Rhode Island?
This is on paper.
This is approved
None
on
of this has
paper.
been built.
Okay.
It's just
Nothing
a wooded
has
field.
happened.
This
So,
is,
so
Thank
where's
you.
Wallem Lake Road on there, and
Yes.
where's
here's
Rhode
Long
Island?
Lake Road, here's
On
the
the south.
terrace, here's Lakeshore
South
Road.
side.
Yep.
And so, they originally permitted the subdivision, you have
Okay.
some years ago, never went anywhere.
And the red rectangle is?
Those are,
The
I
ends,
can't
I
get them
Yep.
off the screen.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't.
okay.
It doesn't have anything to do with the side thing, but it does roughly represent the
Trying to wrap
access
this up,
right there.
actually.
hey, you know what?
Okay, so wrapping it up, because we've got
Yeah.
to move on.
So I guess my question would be, if let's assuming that these wetland lines are accurate, and for the time being, we'll just for the picture, not for the statement. What kind of work inside the 100-foot zone would you typically tolerate as a board? What I've proposed, which is in here a little deeper, is to cut up to the 50-foot line, but not work permanently inside it. That's more or less for shade mitigation around the wetlands, because if I leave a tree up, it becomes a shading issue on the array. And then, so cut up to 50, leave it unstumped up to 100, and my fence line that mostly defines the site would stay outside the 100-foot buffer.
And
That
why do
would-
you cut up to the 50?
Shading, because it gets larger and larger and larger, and the shade profile gets pretty
Your
significant.
slide
Isn't that
comes
more
in at an
important on the
angle.
north side?
South side. I mean,
It's more
this,
important on the south
yeah.
side?
Because it's
To
the
the
angle that
south
the
is
sun is
the
coming
main.
through.
yeah.
Does anybody care that Wallem Lake is not anywhere on this plan?
No.
Well,
Well, there
It would be
is,
nice.
the wetland is eventually ending up in the lake. So there
I think
is
I
a, there
would
is
say that
a
it's
connection.
important that
well,
Yeah.
that lake is shown somewhere.
well, he's
even
gonna
if
have to file
It
stormwater.
might be on other
We'll
drawings.
My
talk about that at the
opinion would-
meeting, but he's gonna have to file
Yeah.
stormwater.
I just think there's gonna be a ton of people who are gonna say, hey, how's the lake protected, and we're not even showing where it is.
Yeah,
Well,
these are
you can't-
preliminary
this is-
plans.
Right, during the public hearing,
Yeah,
that's a valid
you can say
comment.
that.
Talk that up then.
All
Yeah,
that's up then.
so-
We just wanna give him, I guess,
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I'd
Rough-
like to learn if
rough
that's
outline?
expected to be a concern of the board
well,
and/or the
you
abutters.
really shouldn't bring that up until the public hearing.
Mhm. So I guess the original question, typically, do you allow work up to the 50-foot point, which will be clearing but not stumping?
It all depends on the project.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, project to project.
Gotcha. I guess next question, if I've got 2 out of 3, if I were to file this later this week or early next week, I know we're taking the 3rd off because of the holiday. Would we start the public hearing on the 17th? Or,
Yeah.
okay,
Right,
just making,
17th.
some boards, accept it at a meeting and then wait to start until the next, but,
No.
all right, so the 17th. And I think I only really have 2 questions.
Yeah, I would get all the
Alright.
copies of the ORAD
Mhm.
approval from Steve in the peer review,
Mhm.
and then take all that information and put that into your NOI so
Use
that we
the
don't have
BC for peer review
questions.
nowadays?
No,
On that line.
We use Art Allen, so if we're gonna go that way, because it's such a,
He's gonna pay for it though,
Um,
right? Because the last time Art Allen said we paid for
well, we might have them pay for this, because it's such a large project. yeah.
Or if you guys pay for it, then I'd
Yeah.
write you guys a check typically.
Yeah, we would need to discuss the policy.
it.
What?
Can you act on this?
You got it?
No, there's no
There's no
action.
No, when
Final.
time comes.
Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know.
If I'm a notified person, then I probably would not, but. Okay, very good, thank you. Thanks for coming in.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, so to be signed, order of conditions 65 Bigelow Road. Steve, did you have anything else?
All right, we get to sign something?
Okay, so this is the RDA. Mike,
Oh,
RDA.
Contact Maria, she can give you a copy of the old AMRAD.
I'll have that. You know, I know I've got, I think, a Fred or Cliff's, copy that's sitting in their file for 10 years, but I bet it's
I'm
not.
sure Mike Yorker probably has. the,
Where does?
So you're
where do
expecting
you,
to be
uh,
before the
put in
next,
Determination, you want to do
Negative.
that afterward, or?
Yeah,
you coming in soon for this
Yeah,
application?
the goal is, I was hoping to drop the whole package off today, but it's just not quite ready.
Not
So it'll be in the
subject
next
to
week or
review.
so.
So
And
you
that
expect to be
hopefully-
in before us again in September?
We can't read it.
6 o'clock, 6 maybe, or 5 or 6.
Good luck.
So,
Thanks, sir.
yeah,
I do actually, I have a third question. I thought of one, if I may.
Go ahead.
okay, sure.
After filing the NOI, may we schedule the third
Well, I'm just saying
peer
it needs-
review of the
something needs to be
delineation
It's already
checked before.
checked.
prior to the
okay.
17th of September?
Yeah, if you agree that you're gonna pay for the consultant,
Perfect.
just put that in writing, you'll set.
Yeah, we have to talk about that policy too. Alright, so I passed this one around. This was the 65 Bigelow. Now that was approved before our time and I was not present, right?
65 Bigelow?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do we still get to vote on it, or sign it or not?
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
cut and dry.
it's already been put.
Up on
The
It was already
signers
approved.
don't need to be the voters.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is not Bigelow, this is Woodard.
I've got
They do
Bigelow.
detention and-
There you go.
Retention basins on that, do we have say on that or not
We,
really?
you do, we have, commission has control over
Gary,
stormwater management.
Can I have that, please? Thank you.
So,
The commission what?
has control over stormwater management. So,
You're passing that
that's a good
one.
observation, Gary. That's
I was-
especially-
oh, this way?
It's a lot of
Yeah.
sheet flow going off that hill.
It's all downhill. I would like to know what the
Bring it
grade
up at the
was.
meeting and stuff, right?
Alright, this is the Bigelow. Thank you.
Pass it to Gary. You're just gonna pass to the right.
This is the town of Douglas, right?
You know, I keep thinking of my fourth grade teacher or third grade saying, Gary, get your cursive down. And I'm not doing too good.
I don't know
As long
why
as
they
we
made
can
us
read
learn
it.
cursive. There's no reason why you can't legally sign and. Alright, I've got 3 on there. Why you can't legally sign and print?
Really?
Why wouldn't you be able to?
I don't know.
Because that's not a signature.
Sign in, you should always print your name.
Technically, that's not a signature.
You should print your name above your signature.
153
'Cause people
Manchog
can't read
Street.
half of them.
That's why we have zip
Steve,
codes.
could you refresh my memory on that?
Yeah, which one is it?
153 installation
one
of
simply
well, okay,
153 what?
Manchog Street. Artesian well and septic within, okay, oh,
Yeah,
never
that's
mind,
the-
that wasn't prepared the last time.
153 Manchester.
My signature's on here. You need to sign this one, right?
This was negative too, right? Jason Alexander.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, is that
that
Yeah.
was the deck.
pool or the
Bottom.
deck?
I'm gonna
That's
check
the
here.
deck.
Stairs.
Probably if I check here.
There goes the,
That goes this way.
I just wanted to try it out to see how you guys did.
I have all 3 on that one, all 3 on this one, all 3 on this one. Thank you. Oh, these ones are before Westfield.
What's this business about? We're gonna get some cards, or we hand these to people when we go on thing? or-
That's your, yeah, it's
Card
just your
carrying
ID.
member?
Yeah,
Am
your
I a card carrying member of the
Yes, you need to
Conservation
go
Commission?
to the,
MACC.
the MACC conference.
That'll be the day.
It's
Unless-
a Saturday,
unless-
all day
hey.
long.
Crazy.
Yes.
Unless Dorothy McGlincy's sitting next to me.
Who's that?
You really? You don't know?
I also don't know who that is, I'm sorry.
She's the executive director of Massachusetts Conservation Commissioners.
Okay.
She's new, she's been there just a few months. Had a nice little conversation with her this week about
You've got
how
all
to
4 on
behave.
that one.
Oh, good.
I didn't learn anything, but at least I had a conversation with her.
Oh, I'm
I
sure she'll be happy to hear that, Gary.
Oh, boy.
Okay, any other business, Steve?
None.
Okay,
I
Do we
have,
have to review
I have
this?
something I'd like
Did
to
you have
mention.
vouchers to sign?
I already did, one voucher. And we have minutes, actually.
Minutes.
I was gonna say,
Good call. Gary, did you wanna say something?
Yeah, tomorrow night, I'm being called before the selectmen because of Mr. Bagdis making comments of saying that my behavior was unbecoming conservation member, and that two or three local people said that I was a racist and a bigot under conservation.
Big jump.
Yeah, conservation, and I'm using conservation power to do things that are illegal, and the conservation, I mean, the selectmen have asked me to come before a meeting tomorrow at 7 or 7:30, so
Okay.
just thought I'd let you guys know, because it's either gonna go away or there's gonna be some great big fireworks.
Okay.
So I'm hoping it just dies off.
I did wanna mention, my family found it awkward that you asked, that you approached them, that you were a friend of mine from Concom, and you approached my friends my family who has property on the res, and asked if they were looking to sell.
Who was that?
Edie and Bill.
Just to remind you, we are on camera, we're on the record.
Yep.
So as far as mentioning people's names, I really
Oh, okay,
would
I know what you're
deter
talking about.
if you wanted
Good,
to talk
okay.
about that after.
Yeah, I
But
do know
just
what she's talking about.
Speak generally.
Okay, so I'll speak generally for
Yeah.
a second.
Yeah,
So, I mentioned that I was a member of the Conservation Commission, that I was doing a site walk further down for Mr. Kalinowski, and that, in fact, I also sold real estate, but I wasn't acting on behalf of Conservation Commission with any kind of authority that might, suggest.
Okay.
So, just so
Just
that.
found it a bit awkward, that's all.
Okay, sure, good
You know.
enough. But in that same conversation, we talked about my brother who had passed away, and, old folks that we both knew, and.
yeah,
so
I
anyway.
think the boundaries need to be a little bit more defined for you as far as what
Yeah.
our responsibilities are to the town and,
Sure, and I actually took
protecting-
the test, the ethics test this week at the library.
okay,
I had good conversation with both Matt Wojcik
mhm,
and Steve, Bill Cundiff, finding out exactly what the boundaries were. Because, I've been waiting 20 years to show a different side of the conservation, but I don't know all the rules and regulations.
yes, absolutely,
So
yes.
there may be awkward moments, but what you don't know, or maybe you do, they invited me in for a cold drink, and we talked about things other than conservation, because they weren't under any scrutiny by conservation. I wasn't using conservation as my, hey, I'm from conservation. It was
Mhm.
more like, hey, I'm down the street, I see you sitting out here. I
Okay,
stood on Peters Cove Road until they
Yeah.
invited me in.
okay,
So I'm very aware of boundaries and things like that, and to be honest with you, I'm teachable, and I need to learn that stuff.
okay, all
And
right.
it's gonna be a fine line, because I do sell real estate, to keep one separate from the other.
Right. So could you sign that, please, and
Only if
minutes?
Katie says that we're good.
Yes.
Have you, I've got a comment or two, but
Okay.
you got, these guys might wanna take time to read the minutes, I don't know, but one here from June 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Second paragraph from the bottom, 7:20, it says Mike Kravosky, and I believe it was actually Glenn Kravosky. I don't know if anybody remembers.
Do we have the sign-in sheet attached to that page?
No.
Okay, so we want to double check that.
Yeah, this goes back to
EBT,
June 4th.
Okay, okay.
Um,
We could just do
EBT.
Mr. We could do Mr. instead of Mike, and then
Okay.
we'd be safe.
Yes, we would. Let's
Okay.
change. Okay,
All right.
so let's change Mike to Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Do you suggest we keep
That's
these
all.
minutes for some reason? Keep a file of minutes? Because they're online, right?
Yeah,
Up to you.
until we approve them. I mean, once they're approved, you
Oh,
don't
so
need to
how do
keep a
we-
hard copy.
How do we approve this, we initial or something, or?
We're gonna make a
That's what
motion.
we're doing right
Mike's
now.
Mike's in charge
Mike,
of
I've
the
never done
minutes.
this
He
before.
has.
Attention,
No.
listen.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
he has. He's pretty much an expert.
Okay.
Not like the Stream River guy, but like a real one.
Oh, boy. I forgot where we were now.
So, yeah,
Anybody
next.
else have any comments on the June 4th meeting minutes?
None.
I'd like to make a motion. We accept the minutes as corrected. for June 4th, 2018.
Seconded?
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So for the record, Mike and I were the only ones sitting on the board at the time of the June 4th. So the other voting members are just
Oh.
merely doing it for
I'm just looking at
grammatical,
editorially.
yes,
Yeah.
editorially, so that we can carry that through.
Steve, does this building, does this room have any of these that I can take with me, or?
Okay, let's go to the June 18th, and then we can discuss that after.
That one you need to leave
She's
here.
really
After.
upset if you take home the folder.
And can I grab that signed thing right there?
Yes.
I don't know why, but
Thank you.
these
I
are,
think I might have some manila,
these are holy.
manillas.
Okay, here's one thing for you. You can do this first if you want.
Let's do that. The other one we have to look at is, if I can find it, June 18th. Anybody
I'm looking at it.
have comments? Okay, let's,
Just
And
for
thus far, we have
grammatical,
no
because 3 people were not here.
Correct.
Do you have any corrections?
no, this is
Okay.
pretty clean to me.
Okay.
When was the last time we met? What date was it? August something?
August 6th, which we also have. Next.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion.
Move to accept, to approve the meeting minutes for, as written, for June 18th,
Seconded.
2018.
Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And again, I was absent, and Mike was the only sitting member that was present at the meeting, so we are voting just as a matter of business to approve the minutes. So if they're wrong,
So I
Mike,
mean, my vote is the only one that counts, is that what you're saying?
Technically.
Hey, can I ask you a
technically,
question?
yes.
How are minutes generated? In other words,
They're recording us,
and so.
and somebody scribes them.
Really?
Somebody's
Yes.
listening to us in there.
Hello,
And-
hello, hello.
Mary Wright is the recording
And
secretary.
actually, on the 18th, Mary got cut off.
Yeah, so we can put that in as a change.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I saw her name on the other ones.
Not
and
the
then,
18th, the 4th one.
the 6th.
The 6th.
August 6th, her
Okay,
name got
we
cut
know.
off on
August
page
6th.
6.
Okay.
Well, August 6th, we just got tonight, right?
Yes.
So we
Do you want
probably
to save
shouldn't.
those?
Well, if we want to read them, or do you feel, if you feel confident, you've read through them and they,
They're 6 pages long, so I would actually have to finish reading
Okay,
them.
so
Yeah,
let's
we
put
should
those
wait.
off until
Okay,
the
I'm fine with that.
next meeting. Any other business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
Okay, motion made and
What the
seconded. All
heck?
those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.